Jordana and I love Jordana. Like, I've known her since she was 19 years old. Like, you know, it's like I love her. Like, I would die for her in a heartbeat, you know. And to like be sitting there with her, I mean, you know, it's like, well, here we are after all this time, you know. Now we're pretending like we got a baby. Like, this is a trip, but it feels, everything feels so natural and just fluid, you know. And then Vin coming up and, you know, playing Uncle Dom, it's like, we do that in our real life, you know. I do it with his kids, he does it with my daughter. The thing that's cool about Hobbs is that Hobbs really is a pretty honorable guy. And, you know, he wants to do the best job that he can, but more than that, he wants to just bust the bad guys. You know, he's a cop for the right reasons. You know, he sure as hell doesn't want to write tickets. He doesn't want to enforce the law. He wants to exercise justice, you know. And he knows that Brian and Dom they live basically by the same code. They just want to see right done. And especially with the stakes now, with Letty being involved, come on. So long as they can separate the emotion, he knows they're going to be the best team-wise for him. Because nobody else is going to be able to react or step up or handle things the way that they do. It's about, hey, look, you know what, let's come in and let's make the best movie we possibly can. Let's make the fight sequence really dynamic. And the only way you're going to get to do that is just rehearse, 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 and it becomes muscle memory. And then if somebody missteps, it's not a big deal. You get to a point to where the dance becomes so fluid and you're moving together that if a guy missteps and instead of throwing a left hand, throws a right cross, you can sidestep it and it becomes part of it. It's just organic. And that happened a lot of times on this one. And I love seeing that. But it only happens when you're working with a team of guys that are really professional, that come prepared and know what's up. And as a result, you know, Sung got to go in there and knock it out. Tyrese got to go in there and throw some punches. You know, Michelle's fight sequences just kick ass. The stuff with Dwayne and Vin and Kim, I mean, it's so over the top, just brawl fest. It makes the WWF and WWE look like romper room, you know? It's like sorry, there, Dwayne. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
You know, these movies are such a huge part of my pop culture and, you know, people who love movies. So I was wondering how often you feel the repercussions of that. How often are you in LA at a red light and a guy pulls up next to you and kind of gives like the nod and kind of like, you know, and tries to rev his engine up a little bit?
Until they see the kid in the back seat.
And that changes things a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I'm more worried about cops going, hey, that's Dom Toretto. Let's just give him a ticket because he's Dom Toretto.
Does that actually, have you ever experienced that in the years that you've done these? Have you kind of got a
No,
little bit of that?
thank God I haven't. Thank God. But I've always been sensitive of it. I've always realized that, you know, it would be great big news to give Dom Toretto a movie ticket.
I wish that would happen, because I think it'd be really fun. I don't know how I would react to that. But I do like it when I see the souped up cars and I'm like, oh, that's our fault.
It's happened quite a bit.
Do you do it? Like, do you engage?
Yeah, I play back, you know, and match it. And it's pretty funny because I usually drive a pickup truck anyway,
right.
So it's not like, you know, it's
Nothing?
like I'm like in some like speed demon car, but it's fun. I like it, you know, and it always catches you by surprise, you know. It's like you're not paying attention or you're talking on the phone, your hands free phone, of course.
Right, of course,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah. And you know, and you feel something and you look over and it's like, you know.
That only happened to me once, and I burned the guy's engine out because I had my M3 and it was a Honda Civic tune-up car and it couldn't handle the power.
You have to feel good.
I was on my way to
moment.
Coachella. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I had 3 people in the car, so my car was weighed down.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun though. I always like.
You have to feel like a badass when that happens. Were the people in the car? They had to be pretty
I burned
impressed.
his engine out. I wasn't about to stop and look. It's his fault. He shouldn't have challenged. So I'm on the highway. I'm on the fast lane, and I look next to me, and there's this Honda Civic honking his horn.
Right.
And he's looking, and he's like, "Yo, Fast and Furious, let's do this."
My buddies and I, we love kind of creating drinking games for like our favorite movies and our favorite TV shows. You know, every time something cool happens, you take a shot.
Hell
so I was wondering, I think the Fast and Furious movies would be a great series to kind of do like, you know, every time this happens, take a shot. What are some of the things that can happen so that you can say, okay, time to take a shot?
Every time they show a woman's ass?
Yeah.
That'd be cool, but I feel like we need more ass shots in the Fast and Furious.
I'm down for that.
I'm a little disappointed in the ass level in this movie. I think it needs to be.
It definitely needs more.
You know, me and Luda specifically are into way more of a luxury.
I'm right there with you. I'm there with you.
Not just a butt. We're
Not
talking
even
about
that, man.
boob leg.
Every time somebody gets punched.
Yeah, you'd be slaughtered by halfway through
That's
the
what
film.
I'm saying.
I mean,
It's
there
gonna be
is so
perfect.
many punches, headbutts, kicks. Oh, I mean, it's relentless. The
Okay,
movie
so we have
doesn't
punches.
stop.
Like, what else can we do for a?
What about car crashes?
Car crashes.
Car crash.
And also,
Obvious, yeah.
you have to drink from the second that plane decides to take off on the runway
you
till it
kidding me?
actually does take
It's
off.
a 15-minute long sequence, man.
It's the world's longest runway.
It is the world's longest runway.
And the world's heaviest plane.
It really is.
Well, it is. It's got like cars hanging off its wings, remember?
So by the time that sequence starts, make sure you have a full bottle ready
yeah,
to go.
you can't stop. Through a straw. Vodka through a straw.
A vodka, yeah. I wouldn't want to destroy you in that arena because
Something tells me you could drink me under the table.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just go. I'm wearing a
That's
green shirt for
compliment.
God's sake. Let's just call
Why
it
do
like
you
it is.
say that?
I'm just being honest. I'm just calling it like it
You
is.
look like a lightweight, anyways.
I'm just getting called out in this.
No, I'm
It's just the
sorry.
shirt.
It's just the
It's
shirt.
his shirt.
Anytime you see a man with oil on his body,
You'll be drunk about 5 minutes into fast food. Okay, so man with oil. What else do we got? What are some other good ones?
Beautiful women, fast cars, fast motorbike, action sequences.
You're not gonna make it to past the first one.
No way.
You're gonna be on the floor.
You wouldn't see the end.
We
A driving stunt. That's a lot of shots.
Are you in? Are you
I'm
gonna join
in.
us?
I'm in. Yeah.
Vin Diesel's in my drinking game.
Maybe a pot version.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
Okay.
Because then once you get in your car, you're driving slower
That's true.
instead of faster and crashing. You know what I'm saying?
Much better.
Yeah, it's safer as well.
See, so
So you should have like a Fast and Furious pot test.
what are some of the rules? Okay, let's create. Look, what could rule number 1 be?
There is the Russian roulette
Right.
version of it, where you take a shot, you have to hold it in, and then you stand up, and then you get spun around 10 times. If you fall, you have to do it again. So it means, it's kind of like, yeah, it's hardcore. If you survive it, then you point to the other person who has to do it.
I would die.
Yeah.
If you and I were best friends, I would be dead in like 5 minutes. Let's just be honest.
You got the best crew in the world standing right in front of you. Give them a reason to stay.
Our target's Owen Shaw. For years, they've been running jobs in Europe, but their most recent jobs graduated them to a whole new level.
You get us close to Letty and we'll get you Shaw. And you give us full pardons all the way around.
That's the deal. Take it or leave it. Ride or die.
Watching this movie, and everyone in this movie is 10 times more cool than I will ever be in my entire life. I'm gonna be honest. Help me feel better about myself. Who in the cast is secretly not as cool as I think they are?
Sung Kang.
Yeah, why is that?
Because he runs on a treadmill every day.
Yeah, he
went to
runs-
do an action scene, and I'll let him take it from here.
Yeah, he does about 8 miles every morning, and he wears neon shoes. And it's just too much, man.
No. The funny story you told me.
Tell me.
He runs 8 miles every day. So you would think his whole cardiovascular health and his conditioning is out of control. He goes to do an action scene
And
with
he
Tyrese.
is sweating
After
profusely.
30 seconds,
He is sweating profusely. Out
We
of
gotta do
breath,
this again?
tired, and sweating profusely. And I'm like, dude, there is a real disconnect that I am witnessing firsthand right now. First of all, I think you have been lying about all of this damn cardio that you're claiming to be doing, because there is no way
There's
that
absolutely
anybody
no
that
way.
does 8 miles before they come to work is this tired.
you know, actually Vin and The Rock, people think they're these big tough guys, but they're big huggers.
They're big teddy bears.
But we don't like getting hugged by them because every time Rock hugs us, there's all this oil. I'm like,
You're like, why
oil
am I
on my
glowing?
face. You're like, thank you, but no thank you.
You just hug him and just start to slide down. You're like, this makes no sense. My mission is to be as cool as you guys. So by the end of this interview, if we can kind of up my coolness level a
You have to
little
get rid of
bit.
that shirt.
Get rid of the shirt?
And the tie.
Oh no, he did it for his mother.
Oh, I did it for my mom.
Sorry, Mom.
Mom, this is for you.
I don't think she said green though, did she?
said
She
color.
just said
She
color.
said color.
And you've taken it to
I
a
was
complete
different
extreme.
level.
We're not Dealing with cops, with drug dealers, never seen this before.
This code you live by makes you predictable. I can reach out and break you whenever I want.
One of the great things about doing these interviews, because I'm a big movie fan, is being able to know that one day I'm going to be able to show my future kids, like, look what your dad did. Isn't this awesome? Hopefully they appreciate it. So I was wondering, these are some of the coolest movies of all time. What is the moment in this movie that one day you're so excited to be able to show your kid, like, look what mom did, or look what dad did, like, look how cool this is?
That's a great question.
Well, I think basically just pressing play and like your face comes up on the screen. I mean, that in itself still is quite. Because I don't come from a family of actors, or we're working class, good, simple folk. So what I do for a living is quite insane anyway. So even when we turn the TV, like press play on a DVD or something, that my face pops up. That's enough.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be anything special. Just the fact that I'm on the screen is usually. So my kids, they're just going to appreciate that.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
They'll be fine with that.
That's awesome. I'm not used to watching myself on screen yet. I'm still a little hesitant about it. So maybe the fight scene with Michelle was, that was.
You gonna show your kids that?
That's gonna be pretty awesome. You have to show them.
I'm gonna probably have like a really delicate little girl who loves pink, and I'm gonna be like, oh, she's not into it. She's not into it.
She's not into it.
This is kind of a
Beauty and the Beast.
Vegetarian and hates violence.
That's a good question.
Yes, it is. But there's so many moments, I think. I mean, thinking about the previous movies that we did for this franchise and this one.
Your daughter will be so proud of
Yeah,
you jumping from that
Exactly.
And I'll
Exactly.
go like, no way, you don't do that.
You had if mom did it, you have to let them do it.
Did you see yourself jumping off motorbikes to a jeep? I can do that.
See?
Clearly, the fight between Dom and Hobbs is something. I mean, Dwayne and I worked weeks before that shoot. Everybody on set was like calling up the Clash of the Titans. We heard all the King Kong, Godzilla
all the
jokes,
metaphors,
everything.
Right.
I think that's one of the scenes, at least from the saga, that I would tell my son to check out.
Look at this.
You believe in ghosts?
Maybe the Letty we once knew is gone.
You don't turn your back on family, even when they do.
You have a great line in the movie where you say, show me how you drive and I'll show you who you are. Such a badass line. Also, I was wondering, how does, based off of how you drive, what does that say about who Vin Diesel is?
Well, now it would say, Daddy.
It changes things a little bit.
It changes things a little. It sure does. It sure does. I mean, once you, that's not the only thing that changes. When you do enough stunts, or when you are in enough scenes that are kind of high risk, on your everyday life, you start to take less chances, because your job, it consists of taking a lot of chances. And I think nothing's mellowed me out more than all of the action sequences I've done on film.
I drive pretty fast. I get really impatient. Like living in Dallas for a while, I was like, why does no one honk here? So I'm pretty aggro. So I think that's a reflection of my worst self.
It depends. I'm pretty chilled out guy now. When I was younger, man, I was like the road rager, get pissed off, and somebody honking, I want to smash their face, and I was a hothead, and so it got me into trouble.